My name is Martin Meraz-Garcia. I'm an associate professor of Chicano Studies at Eastern Washington University. I've been here for about 9 years now. So what's my characterization of the first year experience? I think it's one of the most amazing things that has happened here at Eastern. I'm very excited. I'm teaching the third sequence. So I was fortunate to be asked by Tony Flynn and Jackie Coombs to be part of this project, and I am grateful to them. I've learned a lot from them. I think one of the things that, I don't know if it was intentional, it probably was, that I get to learn from them. I think in conversations about planning the course, where we met several times during the summer, I learn a lot from them, but I think, I hope, they learn also a lot from young faculty. I know
Jackie said she really liked working with people from outside her department.
Yeah, so I think it has been one of the most fulfilling experiences for me here at Eastern to work with different faculty. I think we form great relationships with them. I see it kind of a mutual mentoring with respect to teaching. And of course, when it comes to the three different disciplines, math, English, and of course Chicano Studies, I think it's a great combination. I'm having the students present at the symposium as part of the first year experience, where they're required to include a math component, an English component, and of course a Chicano Studies component. I think it's an amazing experience for them. They certainly are being challenged, and students should be challenged. So what should EWU faculty know about the first year experience? I think just collaborating. It's going to be very important. Knowing the expectations that each faculty has of their students, so that when they make that transition into the next sequence, that they know sort of what to expect. I think that would be, one of the most critical aspects or advice that I would have for faculty. It's okay to challenge students. We should be challenging students. All of us should be challenging students. I think being part of the first year experience I think I was able to see what happens when students get into my class that perhaps either have high expectations of me or not so high expectations. This was an eye-opening for me. I think the other aspect that I think needs to be tweaked a little bit, it's the number of credits students get. I think,
and we are doing that.
Okay.
Instead of three credit classes, it will be 2 5-credit classes.
Okay, so I think that perhaps that might be an issue, that when students come into the class, they might consider this as it's less of a workload, and perhaps that's what's messing with students' mind in terms of expectations. So I think that aspect probably needs to be revamped. So I'm glad that is happening. I think a great thing that it's part of the first year experience is the funding that comes with being part of the FYE. I've never, for example, had the opportunity to take my students anywhere. We've had the opportunity to do that, first quarter, the second quarter, and then this third quarter. I think the bonding that needs to take place between faculty and students is critical, and the bonding that also needs to take place among them so that they themselves can be sort of peer pressure in terms of striving for their best. I think that happens in those kinds of informal interactions. Again, in the past, I've never been able to do that, especially when I teach the big one-on-one courses where I've had over 60 students, so that is impossible. But with the first year experience cohort, it's a smaller cohort. It really gives me the opportunity to develop stronger relationships, learn their names, something that it's tough to do when you have a big class. So I think that aspect, I think it's also very rewarding. It's going to be very rewarding to see the students present at the symposium. The skills that we're trying to build as part of the FYE is, verbal communications. I mean, and I think students, not only verbal communication, written communications. So all of the skills, or the majority of the skills that we're trying to build as part of the first year experience, it's being fulfilled towards the end of that first year experience. Considering the skills of the students, of course, the students come in at different levels. So that all, again, depends on the individual skill of the student. But again, the high expectations. One of the things that I often say is that rigor should be part of the FYE, but also nurturing. That balance really needs to be just right. And inevitably we will lose a couple of students here and there. That is no different than some of the bigger classes. I mean, I think in my 101, students drop out, a couple, sometimes up to 5 students drop out of the first week. So I think that will happen in the FYE, but I think it's a normal process.
And sometimes it's things that we have no control over, and the students have no control over.
Yeah, so
life intervenes.
Yeah, very much. Students working a lot, things like that. So, I mean, I don't know if did I cover most, or should I?
Surprise you?
What surprised me the most? I think the area of expectations. I think we all faculty who work in a sequence need to be very clear about the expectations. And of course, each faculty has to work very hard to strive for that goal that we all want, the students, the outcome that we want. So I think that was a bit surprising. I was a bit surprised to have students kind of resist. Like they were, like, I was like, you gotta work hard. What's up with that? So I think they were resistant at first. Largely, I think because of I really don't know why they were resisting. I think, like, for example, students would say to me, well, I've never written an abstract before. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'm giving you the tools that you need. I think one thing that actually did surprise me here is here we are trying to build all these skills, but I think some areas, like for example, I sent all of my students to go to the Writer Center to get assistance on on writing the abstract. I mean, I gave them sample abstracts and I gave them many of the tools, and what I found out was that we don't have the capacity. The university does not have the capacity to assist faculty in building the skills that they want us to build as part of the FYE. So I think we're limited in that area. Like for example, some students would say, I went to the Writer Center and they're booked for the next 3 weeks. So it was, obviously I don't recommend faculty to get students to participate in the symposium in the spring. This is something that of course needs to be done maybe at the very latest in the winter. But I've done it in the past, and I know my students could do it, and I pushed them to do that, and they all submitted abstract to the symposium. But I think that area needs to be revamped because our students don't, they lack obviously written, verbal, and many other skills. And I think we need to work hard as a university to build the resources that are needed in those areas. So I think that was probably one of the most striking part of the FYE. So yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.